Hello and welcome to the newsroom with Sana. Today we're going to be taking a look at three important stories. The first is the very important follow-up meeting in Istanbul tomorrow, as Pakistan and Afghanistan are set to talk more with regards to the earlier Doha agreed ceasefire. And it's important to take note in terms of how exactly this will chalk out the details of the implementation of the ceasefire and, of course, put forward the reassurances and the demands that have been there by Pakistan with regards to the Afghan Taliban regime to ensure that their territory is not used against any other soil. While the ceasefire was welcome, it remains to be seen what really are going to be the details and how this will hold. That will be our first story. Our next one is going to take a look at a very important upcoming visit of the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif to Saudi Arabia, and this is in the backdrop of the geopolitical shift that we have seen, particularly after the India-Pakistan conflict, and then of course in the recent times after the attack on Doha by Israel, the Arab Islamic Summit that then also saw the very important defense pact between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. And it's not just in terms of security partnerships that both the countries have agreed upon, it's also the kind of important investment and economic ties that are on the horizon and the ways in which both these countries can partner. And what is going to be really important is the manifestation of these engagements and these ties as to how exactly will statements that have been agreed upon, such as aggression on one will be taken as aggression on the other, be there in practice. And lastly, we're going to be taking a look at what is happening in the tech and AI world, as it seems that ChatGPT has launched Atlas, which seems to be a challenge to the hegemony of the Chrome browser. Google, of course, has enjoyed that monopoly for quite some time now, and this is something that is developing in an ever-changing environment. How much of that will change what we've earlier known remains to be seen, so we'll be taking a look at that as well. We're going to start off with our first story, which is, of course, what has been happening in the neighborhood between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and the fact that there are safe havens of terrorist organizations there, the fact that there are Indian elements involved, and the fact that we still don't have any ways of ensuring that there will be no such threat towards Pakistan as of now is something very, very serious for us, and it is the hope that we will be able to see that as part of the conversation tomorrow. So for that, we're going to be first speaking to a very important guest in the studios, former Ambassador Mr. Imran Ali. Thank you very much for joining us in the newsroom. I'd like your take first on what you think is currently going on in terms of Pakistan and Afghanistan. This is not new, our demand is not new, and this is not an issue that we haven't pointed out to the international community. We've done that many times before, yet we haven't seen any real action coming in from the Afghan Taliban regime. What will be different in the talks tomorrow?
I think it'll build on Doha. Doha was more of pronouncements and ceasefire and other things. So tomorrow I think they would be discussing the nitty-gritty of it, the concrete steps, the long term, and also what we have heard repeatedly, that of a monitoring mechanism. A monitoring mechanism which would be acceptable to both sides and would also be overseen or overlooked by Turkey and Qatar. So I think tomorrow is the consolidating day.
Right, and especially when we talk about the assurances that are required, there is, of course, a lot of history and precedence of that not happening from the Afghan Taliban regime. We've seen that the kind of protection and security guarantees that are required from them have not been met in the past. How do you think that we will be able to, with the help of countries like Qatar and Turkey, be able to ensure that this time around the Afghan Taliban regime stand firm on their ground?
We'll have to keep on re-drilling this process. It will not be an easy, like as if tomorrow is the last meeting on this. So we should be mentally prepared that this will go on, not only because of any lack of sincerity on part of the Afghan government, but because maybe it's not very easy for them. Maybe Pakistan, as the largest state and having been in the area for a long time, needs to take a more wholesome view of it. But the most important thing here is that unlike the Indian playbook, which some people criticize us that we are doing what they did, it's not that. We are so open and so truthful about it that we have two independent countries, Qatar and Turkey, right part of the process.
Yeah.
So that was what, because many Indians I see criticizing, When we asked India to have a monitoring mechanism, they just balked away and ran away. So at the outset, we are fine with whatever mechanisms Turkey and Qatar evolve.
Absolutely. Let us also welcome in the discussion Mr. Jahangir Khadak, who's an Afghan affairs expert, and Mr. Mehmet Ozturk, who's the former editor-in-chief, Anadolu Agency. Jahangir Sahab, I'll start with you with reference to what you understand of the Afghan Taliban regime and the way that the situation has just recently evolved. How then do you think that the meeting is likely to go tomorrow, given the fact that Pakistan has made it very, very clear that anything coming in from Afghanistan will be taken as a violation of the ceasefire?
Thank you for having me on the show, Sana. And I think I agree with what Ambassador just mentioned. It's not going to be a very easy conversation, and it's not going to be a one meeting affair. I think it's a process that will be starting tomorrow because building a mechanism to monitor a 2,600 plus kilometer long porous border is hard, both for Pakistan and Afghanistan. So, at a time when there are mutual suspicions, there's a lot of distrust and mistrust, and then there is a lot of growing evidence, not just from Pakistan, but from the United Nations, which has repeatedly published even the names of at least 14 different terrorist groups being harbored on Afghan soil and calling Taliban and even putting them under UN ban. Like 40 Taliban leaders are in UN's blacklist even today. That's why Amir Khan Muttaqi, wherever he is going, or even any of their top officials are traveling, they need to get permission from the United Nations. The reason is the same that Pakistan is bringing it up, that there is strong evidence, and Pakistan has that evidence, and I'm sure Pakistan has shared with the Taliban the different bases that exist on Afghan soil. Pakistan, I mean, leave aside Pakistan. There's an US war journal. It's a publication. They published a map of Afghanistan showing 14 training camps in 14 different provinces of Afghanistan and different safe houses for different terrorist groups. So there is no doubt that Afghan Taliban have been protecting it. So that's one position that Pakistan has, and it has a lot of element to it. And then comes what to do about it. I mean, there were skirmishes. Pakistan and Afghanistan both attacked each other, and no issue was resolved, except for the message that was delivered to the Taliban that Pakistan has reached it will not tolerate any, like it reached the tip of its tolerance, and it will not accept any further action that emanates from Afghanistan. So there will be a reaction. So that at least has been like this is called, like, I can call it a reset in Pakistan-Afghanistan relations, because very rarely we have seen that every time there's a big attack in Pakistan, and now this time Pakistan has a reaction, sometime bombing, sometimes something is happening. So that reset has happened. But Pakistan and Afghanistan have to find a way to move forward, because remember, you talked about geostrategic shifts, and these shifts are titanic. These are really huge shifts that are happening. One strategic reset happened after May 6th and 7th Indian attack, and they miscalculated it, and they saw that the strategic balance has been reset in Pakistan's favor, largely, at least for now. But after these attacks from Afghan side, where Taliban have failed to or are colluding with, we don't know. But apparently, it could be both. With the Pakistani Taliban, and they have been attacking Pakistan. So after Pakistan reacted, I'm not sure how sensible that policy was, but at least it reset the ground realities. So the conversation is starting from there now, where there is no trade between the two countries. It had reached almost $2.8 billion. More than 5,000 containers are stranded on Pakistani side, and Pakistan used to get up to 500 trucks of vegetables and fruits from Afghan side every day. They're not coming, and we see. I was looking at, like, Pakistani newspapers are reporting that the tomato prices have gone up. I'm not sure if they are largely because of that, because we had floods. Lots of our, tomato crops have been destroyed. Everything has been impacted, and we are living in climate change as well. So we better be ready for that. But overall, I think the situation is a lot of suspicion. There is like a tense ceasefire. There is no roadmap to monitor how to make sure that what Pakistan is complaining about is addressed. And there is no mechanism on Afghan side to display that the people who they are being accused of protecting have been taken care of, or they have been removed at least. So I think there are a lot of areas of concern. And then the big elephant in the room, don't forget that. I think that probably may be bigger than the current problem, because this will be probably resolved in some way over a period of time. But the bigger question now is coming in shape of water. Afghans are planning to build dams on Kunar River. What is Kunar River? It is actually Chitral River, because it enters Kunar province and it becomes Kunar River, and near Jalalabad it enters and empties in Kabul River. So almost 20% of the Kabul River water comes through Kundar River. So if Kundar River is dammed and the water discharge in Kabul River goes down, I think Pakistan will have serious issues. So it's not just one issue. And remember, Pakistan and Afghanistan have no mutual water agreement. They have no water sharing agreement, which needs to happen. So I think there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen, and I'm glad it's starting. But there is a lot that has to be covered, and I don't think that it will be covered in one meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Angir Khadak, for joining us and being a part of the discussion today. Let us also welcome into Newsroom Mr. Mehmet Öztürk, who's the former editor-in-chief at Anadolu Agency. Thank you very much, Mr. Mehmet, for joining us today. I'd like your take on, of course, your country hosting the very important conversation between Pakistan and Afghanistan tomorrow. And it's important in terms of regional peace and security. So when we take a look at the stakes, what do you think is the situation in the ways that your country can contribute towards a substantial and a verifiable mechanism of stopping these terrorist activities from emanating from within Afghanistan?
Thank you very much having me in this important discussion, and also my regards to your guest in the studio. Yes, of course, it is a very important meeting in Istanbul, and it is the second round of Pakistan-Afghanistan peace negotiations. And as your guest indicated, it is only beginning, and I think this is a lengthy process, and we pray for the success of it. And sitting on table and negotiating the problems much better than killing each other. And also another important side of this discussions or negotiations that we are, as Muslim nations, sorry, trying to solve our own problems. This is important. And just 10 minutes before, I have seen the sayings of spokesman for Pakistan Foreign Ministry. He says the meeting aims to establish concrete and verifiable monitoring mechanism. I think we also were expecting something like this, but Afghanistan and Pakistan has many problems, not only one problem. It is okay that Pakistan has a terrorism problem, cross-border terrorism, we can name it. But Pakistan and Afghanistan has a Durand line problem, and this is the main problem to my idea. Unless this problem solved by the two sides, the problems will remain between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Of course, this is the problem of Afghan side, because after the establishment of Pakistan at 17th August 1947, they started not recognizing this international border. So first of all, this problem must be solved, and I hope that the discussions in Istanbul will open a door for comprehensive solution of problems between Afghanistan and Pakistan. in the light, of course, there is a TTP problem and BLO problem. Both are important for Pakistan because there are terrorist activities in the Pakistan territory. And also there is another problem between Pakistan and Afghanistan, deportation of Afghan refugees. Of course, we as Turkey and also Islamic countries must thank Pakistan hosting Afghani refugees more than 4 decades. But I think deportation must be in full respect for anyone, whether it be Afghan refugee or any other refugee. And I think the main problem also, main update problem between Afghanistan and Pakistan, Afghanistan getting closer to India. And I advise for our Pakistani friends, and also I have some friends in embassy here, and I say that in order Pakistan want Afghanistan going together with Pakistan and not leaning to India, Afghanistan has to have good relations with Afghanistan because it is they are neighbors and they have many common things more than India. So Pakistan also must think on this. And one more thing at the end, I want to say, I think these negotiations must engage TTP also, because we have also terror problem in Turkey, about maybe more than 4 decades in Turkey. But now Turkey started a new process with PKK terrorist organization for the big picture and for the biggest security concerns. So I think problems, there will be a process of solving problems in Istanbul meeting, and also 4 sides. As you know, in addition to Pakistan and Afghanistan, there is Qatar government and Turkish government. They must try to solve all the problems one by one. But as your guest indicated, this will not be a 1 or 2 meetings. Maybe it is a lengthy process, but we hope and pray for the success of these negotiations.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Mehmet Ostak, for joining us and sharing your valuable insights with us in the newsroom. Mr. Imran, I want your take then on 2 very important issues. First, the Durand line. We, of course, have heard the defense minister from the Afghan Taliban regime calling it hypothetical, saying there's still misunderstandings. And that remains an aspect that both countries are not looking eye to eye on. How then are we going to move on and resolve this particular issue when the borders as they are not being respected from the Afghan side?
I think Pakistan cannot now open irredentist claims by Afghanistan of pretty settled border for a century or so. So if you open the border issue, then probably we won't be able to solve anything.
Yeah.
So I think and the Afghan side also knows this, and so do the mediators, that it's one, it was a legal border, according to, without going into the legality of it. Plus, it's been on too long.
Yeah.
So that cannot be the Durand line issue. I think Pakistan will not be ready to discuss it.
Right. And the second is with reference to Indian involvement, as Mr. Mehmet was also pointing towards, and we know that India has been warming up to the Afghan Taliban regime. Of course, the embassy has also been fully opened there. They're just short of a formal recognition. And so given this nexus that exists also in terms of the terrorist organizations and the terrorist elements that are there in Afghanistan that are used against Pakistan, how then will this particular relationship be navigated when we take a look at multiple other countries coming in and helping solve the picture?
Again, as the very respected guest from Turkey just said, talking with the TTP. Now, Pakistan has been talking to the TTP 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Other talks have taken place. it has not yielded much results. They ideologically are against Pakistan's type of government and all those things. One. Number two, the fact that the Indian angle, we can't take it as a sign of weakness. We are geographically contiguous to Afghanistan. It's our border, and the Indians, look, the Indians castigated. I'm using a soft word. The Taliban. They literally called them all sorts of names, starting from terrorists to retrogressive to everything. Even during Foreign Minister Muttaqi's visit, if Afghans read all parts of the Indian media, they would realize. So therefore, India, having said all those things, if Afghanistan can go and try to shake hands with India to try to force Pakistan's hand, I think it's not good policy on part of Afghanistan. On the other hand, we have been the whipping boy of the Western world for supporting the Taliban, for supporting the fathers, the grandfathers of the people who are part of the government now.
Yeah.
So, and remember, you would remember it, that Pakistan called a meeting of the Islamic world here in Islamabad to unfreeze half of the assets. So half of the assets in American banks have been unfrozen because of Pakistan. So Pakistan has been doing everything. There is a whole plethora of meetings that take place on tax, on other things, trying to help Afghanistan become responsive.
Yeah.
So I think we've done our part. Yes, we should be open-minded. Yes, we should not castigate this government of Afghanistan. Yes, we should behave like a larger brother. But India is a sign of our weakness, and therefore giving in to these talks and talking to TTP. I'm sure if TTP wants to talk, I'm sure Pakistan would have no problems as part of this process.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Manali, for joining us and being a part of the discussion. We're going to take a short break here and be back with the next story, which is regarding the Prime Minister's visit to Saudi Arabia. Welcome back to the newsroom with Sana. We're now going to be taking a look at the upcoming visit of the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and a high-level delegation to Saudi Arabia. And this is an important visit in the backdrop of the defense pact that has been recently signed between the two countries and the kind of improvement in investment ties that are expected. And we've been joined in the studios by former Ambassador Mr. Imran Ali. Ambassador Saab, with reference to what is happening currently in the international community and the relationship that Pakistan has always enjoyed with Saudi Arabia, how do you see the difference now than before, particularly after the India-Pakistan conflict, after what has been happening in Gaza, Pakistan's role in this peace process, and the very important peace pact that says that the aggression on one will be aggression on another? That's a big statement to make.
Yeah, that's a very big statement. And Sana, you very rightly pointed out from May onwards, and with Gaza as the backdrop. Now Pakistan has a seat at the Middle Eastern table, which was indirect earlier, but now it's a direct seat. We are part of the Gaza Muslim bloc, which is part of the Gaza ceasefire. So I think Saudi Arabia and Pakistan's relationship is at the center of this, and the defense pact is also at the center of this. The conference that is taking place tomorrow, day after, I think it's a multilateral conference.
Yes.
It's an investment multilateral conference, and it's a very big show. You're going to have the West, the CEOs of top companies and other big guns from the financial world coming there. So Pakistan is going there because Pakistan wants to show its solidarity with the investment and with the economic plans of the Crown Prince. So this is part of the, other than, of course, there is going to be a bilateral parlays are going to be there on the defense pact and other things, but mainly Pakistan is going to be there for economy, trade and investment. And bilaterally also, we have 5 to 7 billion shifting trade balance trade trade volume between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. We have 22.5 million Pakistanis, one of the largest the largest sending of remittances is from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And it's a very serious thing has happened in the backdrop, which is that there are news everywhere that Saudi Arabia has let go of its system where you had to have personal guarantees for every person working in Saudi Arabia. This is part of Saudi Arabia's reform agenda. And if this has happened, there's a particular name for it. I'm forgetting the name. So in the past, if a Pakistani had to go there, he needed to have a guarantor from Saudi Arabia. That Saudi Arabia is ending now, which is a very good news for Pakistanis there and for future Pakistanis that go there.
Absolutely. How do we make it easy for particularly the private sector to also come in? Of course, we've enhanced a lot of our operations. We've had One Window Solutions. We've had the SIFC, which is at the forefront of a lot of these engagements as well. And there seems to be a lot of particular interest in the mining sector in Pakistan as well, and that's up and coming. It's been cited in US as well, and there's a lot of interest in US and China. How do we then make it easy and lucrative for Saudi investors?
If you ask me the doability of it outside of long phraseology, then SIFC should send, along with the Ministry of Finance, should send the private sector to Saudi Arabia and invite them from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And in the sectors that we think there is potential in. Besides the mineral sector, which you rightly pointed out, Pakistan's agriculture, Pakistan's rice, Pakistan's textiles. So we need to have them go there, look at the environment, not leave it to a less structured process, but get it done during these days, because this, as we were discussing before the program, this is one of the golden periods of Pakistan's diplomacy and Pakistan's prestige in the world. So we might as well make it more economically viable, the relationship with Saudi Arabia.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Imran Ali, for being part of the discussion. And we're, of course, going to keep a lot of eyes and hopes on the upcoming visit, and we'll be here to talk more about it. But right now, we're going to take a short break and be back with more. Welcome back to the newsroom with Sana. We're now going to be taking a look at a very interesting development with ChatGPT launching ChatGPT Atlas, which seems to be a huge challenge to the hegemony of Chrome. What remains to be seen is whether or not they will live up to it and whether or not Google is going to fight back. For that, we've been joined by Mr. Ahmed Manzoor, who's an IT expert, and we'll talk more about this with him. Mr. Ahmed, with reference to what has been going on with regards to this new age of AI and particularly new developments coming in every day, how big of a challenge is Atlas going to pose to Google's Chrome?
Basically, Assalamu alaikum to everybody. Basically, this is, you can say, in 2022, when ChatGPT came into the market, it made AI for everybody. So now that Atlas might be do the same thing with everybody. It's connected to AI through browser, right? So it will be going to be challenging for everything. It's going to be like if you are writing an email, before that you are typing on ChatGPT and then copy paste to here. But now you have the browser, which are already connected with AI, who is having all the data in it, and it will recommended you and a lot of other things. So yes, it is going to be challenging for Google Chrome as well as Microsoft Edge and every other browser right away.
Right, but they're going to come up with their own versions of it, are they not?
Yeah, they are working on it, but obviously this is something already challenging. People are working, like Perplexity already have their Comet in the market, but this is more advanced. Like if that is working right away on coming to the market in the next 1 or 2 months for everybody. Right now it's working only for Mac OS, but it will come for other Windows and everybody else. So it will going to be challenging for everybody, and it's going to challenge everybody that AI is taking over.
Absolutely. While, of course, there are some great benefits to attaching AI to the browser, what seem to be some of the downsides, particularly in terms of data security?
Data security remains there. I think basically, if there is something came into the market, whatever it is, they always work on the security before that. Yes, when we go to the network, to the internet, everything is vulnerable. But they have the security mechanisms, so it might be making it more usage friendly to everybody. Like if you talk about the chat GPT right away, like it's working and have your all the data in chat GPT. Like I have the account, you have the account, you have your own data, I have my own data. So that is same thing if came into the browsers, like if you are using and saving the passwords and everything, so it will work like that way. So they're going to be more secure because they are going to use more secure protocols, which going to be enabled in every browser, which will coming in next, you say, by 2026 or something.
Yeah. Is this going to pose increasing regulatory challenges to already difficult mechanisms that countries are trying to put in place for AI?
Yeah, actually, that's what I've said before. It is going to challenge everything. We need to make more accurate regulations, make more comprehensive things to deploy these things. We are not going to, sometimes I say that we are not going to ban everything, but we need to collaborate with everything to achieve more. Because now AI is a collaborator. Like right now, if we talk about only like the browser, then it become my assistant and make my life more easy. Like if I have the email, right, and it'll type the email on my behalf and send it to somebody which is there. So we need more regulations. We need more comprehensive regulations to deploy these things and make them more friendly to other people.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed Manzoor, for joining us and being a part of today's discussion. There is a concern, of course, as such news are being welcomed as to how exactly will they unfold and what changes they're going to bring. As Mr. Ahmed was pointing out, it is going to challenge everything, and that is indeed something that we need to keep an eye out on for, because this is something not we've seen before or something that we truly understand at the moment in terms of how to handle or regulate. But there are measures that are being put in place to ensure that that is so. How successful they are is something that will be part of the future. That's all that we have from the newsroom today. We'll now see you on Monday.